Yeah.
When you're older, you have to look after your parents. Okay, you don't put them in a nursing home. They just as when you get old, somebody has to look after you.
Sure.
So the idea that when a person gets old and you put them into a nursing home, you have to think about mentally what it does to them. That they've lost their contact with their family. Okay, what do they do in 12 hours a day when they're awake? How do they
So
fit in?
just give me a disclaimer that your good name is
Tim.
Tim. All right. So I am here in Nathan, near to my campus, Griffith University. We just encountered and been sharing some amazing insights. So Tim is telling me that how hard it is in Western culture when you are old, when your health is not good, you should not be alone. And I have just popped up and I said that in our Eastern culture we have a joint family system where mostly our old do not go alone, they do not live alone, and they have a life of a joint family system where they do their leadership. They are the custodian of the whole family, and they are there to look after everything, and they get a lot of respect, lot of support. So I just want to have his insight that what actually happens in this part of the world, and how important it is to look after your old people in home. Tim, over to you.
Well, what happens here a lot of older Western people, um, it is normally the case where they will end up going to a nursing home or to a people where they're detached from their family, and that for them it seems to be a way of getting rid of these people. It's almost saying, well, it's okay, you're old, you can't look after yourself anymore. The family can't look after you for whatever reason. And then it almost seems to be accepted that these people are then put into a nursing home.
And how do they feel usually if you have encountered anyone in that
No. Look, the reality is that
Do they feel betrayed?
they normally die within 2 or 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. My auntie, I was very close to her, and I can remember the very first weekend I visited her after she was in a nursing home, and she was so she felt as though she'd been betrayed. Okay, 2 years later, she was dead. She died. You could actually see her going. You could see her dying. Okay, you could see her dying, and the last moment I saw her was she was put into a hospital for a few days. She was discharged. She went back to her nursing home. I visited her on a Sunday night, and she had never looked so bad. And the last thing she said to me was, "Thank you for visiting me."
Oh my God.
And then a week later, she was dead on her bed. The following Saturday, I got news that she died. I went and visited her. She was dead within 2 years. And you know, what I've noticed is that people who end up in nursing homes, they don't live long, and I think the reason for that is because psychologically, sorry,
Loneliness?
yeah, of course,
Wow.
because their spirit is broken.
Their
Their,
spirit is broken.
yeah, their whole purpose is gone. It's like they're given a room and maybe a shower, you know, where they can have their shower at night. A big dining room where everybody eats. So, you know, it's not like eating with your family. It's like eating in a big cafe. And then as soon as you're finished, you go back to your room.
If you had the power, what would you like to change about this culture, and what you would like to have instilled in this culture, particularly?
Well, I would have to think long, because there would be a big list, because I have effectively grown up in it. I am what you call a product of the culture,
That's culture, yeah.
you see. And
But this particular, when they are old and they are lonely, what exactly you would like to suggest to a society or the young? Because I'm being followed by a lot of young people there. So
yeah,
what you would like to advise to them in your age?
look, what is the solution for these people when they get old, or for anybody when they get old? Well, the main thing is you have to keep active. And you can't keep active if you're locked up. Not locked up, if you live in a room. How can you be active?
Yeah.
How can you go outside and do anything? You can't, because it's like being locked up, or not locked up, it's like living in a hotel room. So you can't go and do gardening. You can't go and walk outside, because you walk into a car park or maybe a small piece of greenery, nothing more.
And any piece of advice for the young people out there who should look after for the old one?
Well, the advice is keep them at home, but how do you convince them to do that?
Wow.
You see what I mean?
Wow.
When the whole culture is producing, this market where you put the old people into an old person's home, how do you then change that mindset when that's what they see every day? If someone said to me, what would you do? I mean, if the family doesn't look after the old people, the alternative in the West here is put them into an old person's home, and then the nurses and whoever looks after those centres look after the people. So what then is the alternative when that is already in place? It's like having to come up with the alternative and then convince people that this is what you should do. It's like then saying to these people, well, then your parents will now stay at home, but then they'll say, well, we need to go to work, because if we don't work, we can't afford our household.
Got that.
So it's very complicated, because also in Australia, it's a very expensive country to live.
Hmm.
And